Hello everyone, it's Cake Jostello back with another part of my World of Darkness collection, and right now we're going to be checking out Wraith the Oblivion. Now, Wraith the Oblivion was the fourth game in the line of old World of Darkness games, or, well, just World of Darkness as they would have been called at the time, but this is the one where you play as a ghost, and it had some really, really cool artwork and just like imagery that would come to mind with the setting. I hear that playing it was actually really off-putting because they were supposed to have the players also, on top of playing as their normal character, they would play as another player's shadow. So they would be playing as essentially this character that is the evil half of the ghosts, but they'd be playing it for other people's characters and stuff, and it made the game kind of like weird to play. And I feel like that would kind of give it a really weird playing. I don't know if I would do that if I ever played Wraith the Oblivion. I might not do that, but I don't think ghosts are ever going to be players in my game, sadly. At least not the one I'm running right now, so I don't know. But right here, this is a second edition Wraith the Oblivion. There were only two editions. This is the second edition's core book. Open up there, and this is from one of the original runs of the game. I don't know if it would be the original run of that, but then I have another version here, which is from Printed on Demand, Drive-Thru RPG. So as you can see, pretty much the same. This one just looks a little faded, but yeah, I have two different versions of it there. See, it's just kind of different, a little, not that much. And then here I have, this is Wraith the Oblivion first edition, which I put into protective sleeves. Has really cool artwork in it, such. Pretty much every World of Darkness book has really good artwork in it. That's why I like it. One of the many reasons I like the game, I should say, because there's a lot of reasons to like World of Darkness. Good writing, good story overall, good artwork. But here's the Wraith Player's Guide. It's another pretty self-explanatory book in a long line of self-explanatory books. But yeah, it's pretty necessary if you wanted to play Wraith the Oblivion, if you're a player. Here is the Sea of Shadows, which is the storyteller's guide to the Tempest, which is like this raging storm part of the underworld. It's really hard to kind of like picture what the underworld was like in Wraith the Oblivion, which I feel like was another one of the setting's problems. At least I hear that's what it is, pretty much. Like, I do have a hard time kind of imagining what it is, but definitely important book if you want to get that better understanding. Then here's Renegades, which is a source book about dead people who are mad as hell. So basically, like, rebels and stuff from the underground world of the underworld. Everything that Death Lords don't want you to know about life on the outside. The truth about the mysterious Renegade Council, and the nitty-gritty of playing a Renegade. And here is the Book of Legions, which is a source book for living, like, as being part of the ranks of the Legion of the Underworld, which would put you at odds with the Renegades. Like, details of existence in and out of the military of all 8 of the Stygian legions and such. And here we have Love Beyond Death, which is a source book pretty much about just, it's really small and thin, and it's just about like telling stories about love, being a wraith, which is, it's kind of a cool little book. Add a little dimension to your stories with this. And here we have Buried Secrets. It's a thin book with just sample harrowings, storytelling suggestions, and a full-length introductory chronicle and some additional information on human antagonists, the Far Shores, artifacts, and much, much more. I wouldn't say much, much more. It's pretty thin, but... And then here's the hierarchy, which is just more information on the underworld, a glimpse inside the great library of Stygia, legendary hierarchs, character templates, more. It's just more information on like the system and the establishment of the underworld. It's a really spooky cover. And then here is The Risen, which is a book about basically being a wraith and then coming back to life as that. And it's also about like sometimes like I'm pretty sure they would normally be antagonist characters, but it allows you to play as them, which is pretty cool. And there's a few new powers in here and rules for going between the Shadowlands and the Skinlands. The Skinlands being what wraiths call the normal human living plane. And here's a Black Dog Game Factory book, which means it's for adults only, and we can't take a peek inside. But it's about playing as specters, which are wraiths that have been consumed by their shadows and turned into essentially mindless evil wraiths. I don't know if they would all necessarily be mindless, but it's just the information about being a specter and stuff, which is pretty cool if you want to play an evil, spooky ghost. And then here's Haunts, which is a book about different places that ghosts would be haunting. It's, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory when you think about it. So it's just a book with different haunts, and then 2 new cults of heretics, and guidelines for creating haunts, and so forth. Now we're going to go over the different guild books that I have. I think I have them all, but I could be wrong. I don't believe that each guild actually got its own book, which is why I'm questioning whether or not I have them all or not. I think there were 7 and I have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Yeah, I think there was a 7th one that I don't have, but here are the Artificers, which can manipulate real-world machinery, and they can use like soul forgery in the underworld and stuff like that. And here are Haunters, which kind of are exactly like what they sound like. They're ghosts that use their power of pandemonium to like create these like weird scary images in the real world to kind of scare people. And next up is the Maskers, which can control appearances and stuff like that. They can also change the corpus of your own wraith's body and stuff like that. Then there are the Sandmen, which use the power of phantasm to control people's dreams and like talk to them that way and stuff like that. It's kind of cool. Pretty one of the cooler guilds, at least in my opinion, that's for sure. And then here you have one of the 2 mixed guild books, which is the Spooks and the Oracles. The Spooks cause material objects to fly around and stuff like that with their powers, and the Oracles kind of try to like read fate and sometimes change it and stuff like that. It's they usually have an eye symbol or a tattoo on them. And the last guild book that I have is a mix between the Pardoners and the Puppeteers. Now, these are kind of like, I don't want to say holy men of the underworld, but kind of like that. They try to like help and heal everything, and if your shadow's acting up, they can help you. And they're the Puppeteers, which try to control humans in the real world using their power of puppetry. And the last 2 books I have, one of them is The Shadow Player's Guide, a book specifically for players on playing another character's shadow, which is a pretty dark looking book, if you ask me. It must have taken a lot of ink. Pretty cool book. If you had to get a few books from Wraith the Oblivion, I would definitely recommend getting Shadow Player's Guide just for coolness sake, if nothing else, and definitely a cool book to look through. And the last book I have is actually one of the earlier ones, I believe, which is The Quick and the Dead. The Quick and the Dead, I think, is just a book about like ghost hunters. These mortal pioneers of the spirit come in search of the secrets beyond the grave. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. So it'd be like ghost hunters, I guess. Stuff like that. If you ever want to play Ghost Hunter. So this was my Wraith the Oblivion collection, and I still have a couple of videos to post, so if you're still interested in this collection, or you want to see previous ones, just check out my channel down below. Thanks guys, take it easy. This cool storyteller screen for Wraith the Oblivion, which is, just see that. It's pretty cool. I wouldn't say it's the coolest storyteller screen I have, but it's definitely just cool looking to begin with. And if I were ever to play just a Wraith game, I would definitely use this.